Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? A big mahalo for joining me as we connect through the islands to our good friend. He headlined my 5-year anniversary concert at Pipeline Cafe a few years back. Now he's doing the December 30th Brian Evans Maui Celebrity Series star-studded 1-year anniversary concert featuring the Mick Fleetwood Blues Band. And he's in the news for just joining the Maui Memorial Medical Foundation board, which we will also hear about. Mick Fleetwood kindly joins us on the line now. Aloha and mahalo, Brother Mick.
Aloha. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, man. Good to hear yours as well. And nice to be speaking with you around these festive times. Happy holidays to you and yours.
Oh, absolutely. And I always love the fact that I'm not shivering somewhere. I speak to a whole lot of old family members in England and even back in California. It's not too pretty right now. But anyhow, I'm happy to be here, as it were.
And we're happy to have you. When and how did you get lassoed into this exciting show in Lahaina, December 30th at the Maui Theatre?
Well, as you know, I have an onward-going yen to play and have really basically a couple of bands that have, over the last 2-3 years been semi-active. One is with Rick Vito, who used to play with me in Fleetwood Mac. He's in both bands, actually. Island Rumors, we've done shows, corporate stuff, and some regular shows here through the last 2 or 3 years, on and off. And then out of that, me and Rick have the Mick Fleetwood Blues Band. And we've toured with Lenny Castellanos and Mark Johnstone from the island here, and the four of us go off, and we've been all over Europe and New Zealand and Australia. So we've done some trekking, and the band is based out of Maui here. So we're exporting some music from the islands, sort of. And every year I do a benefit for Shep Gordon, a private benefit in Wailea for the food bank, and I forget what other thing he's doing this year. It's always the food bank and the Maui Theatre. I think he supports through this charity. And Rick and I always become the house band. And then anyone up for grabs, Alice Cooper always comes in because Shep manages him, and we mutate into playing songs with Alice and all sorts of crazy stuff. Having said that, all my guys are here and rehearsing and doing stuff. So we attempted and got sort of lucky to find somewhere to play at short notice, which was the Ulalaina Theatre. And hence the gig. As crazy as it sounds, I think we're going to be able to pull it off. And on that show, Gretchen Rhodes and Eric Gilliam are joining me and Rick and the guys, and we're going to do a whole sort of 2-hour show leading out of the first section being the blues band, and with some visitations from Eric joining us in that configuration for the first time, because he's become a mighty fine guitar player. He's always been a great rhythm player, and I've always enjoyed his singing is obviously spoken for, but as a guitar player, he's really developed into just really a cool player. So he's joining us prior to coming up and unleashing his singing talents with Gretchen towards the end of the show. And we're going to sort of do a half and half show, which will be the blues band leading into, a small version of the Island Rumors set that we do.
I like that. Gretchen's great. I remember fondly watching she and Raiatea just laying out the jams with your band at Pipeline that time.
Yeah, she's great.
She is. She's fantastic. You know who else I should give you some praise. You were mentioning taking the blues band out on the road, and a few months back you were down in, I guess it was part of your extensive touring was in Down Under in Australia, and I had an interview with both Boz Scaggs and Michael McDonald, who I understand you were sharing the bill with, and Michael said just the nicest stuff about what your set was like each night. He devoted a portion of his interview to just plugging you and your band, so I have to pass that along.
I must thank him for that. And he spends time on the island here, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
on this side of the island. I don't know where he is right now, but if you're out there, Michael, thank you and God bless you. It was a great tour. It was low key, relaxed, and just being surrounded by your peers. For me, selfishly, it was great because Boz and Michael, we all came out of that time, when we were all bumping into each other out there on the road years ago. So sort of coming together for those shows down under was really a pleasure. It was great.
That's good stuff. Well, they gave you a lot of positive feedback, and I'm sure that you described it well. What's going to be happening at the Maui Theatre, sort of that band, and then a somewhat of a mutation with the Island Rumors, and obviously Rick comes along with the Fleetwood Mac thing. What is the format? There's so many different kinds of entertainers who I see attached to it, from Cheech Marin, Tom Arnold, William Shatner. What exactly is going to happen with all those cats and your band?
Really don't know. All I know is that Brian, the promoter, is he does a sort of a Frank Sinatra-y type thing. He's actually pretty damn good at it. And truly for him, it's a more of a fun thing that he tries to squeeze into some of these variety shows that he's been doing. And I'm really unknowing. I'm probably going to be attacked by William Shatner reciting poetry in to beats or something. It certainly on paper looks like a Fellini flick, which has sort of an excitement because I truly don't know. But the first chunk of it, one might say, is truly a variety show.
It looks it. And
I know that William, Mr. Shatner, I don't know whether he's doing it, but I suspect it has to be. He's vexing his, this talking, singing stuff that he loves to do, and everyone knows he's still hot as a pistol, as an actor. Has had so much success, during the last few years, and he's been a continuum of surviving at a very high level. If you stop to think about it,
Oh, dude, he's epic.
Yeah, he is, and I've met him a couple of times. He's a really nice man, and he's in his, I has to be in his 70s, I would think, but he seems like he's a child, He's always doing crazy stuff, which one of them is walking on and doing his performance here in Maui, which I believe is an onward-going thing. He just loves to do this spoken word stuff to music. Again, I'm assuming that's what he's doing. The other guys are coming on. Cheech is just, I'm sure, doing what he loves to do, is making people laugh, as with Tom, So they both are great friends of Shep Gordon's, who lives on the island here, and they're going to be helping out with the charity, the next night.
I think the whole thing is fantastic. I'm just hoping that William Shatner brings along that guy that he has in the Priceline commercials with him.
Oh, I can't wait. I for one will not miss it, because it's so off the wall, the whole first half of the evening, that I too will be riveted, waiting to find out what's in store for us all. But I will be there, and the guys and Gretchen, and we'll be pumping out some really great music, and we are all going into rehearsals this week and getting ready for you.
Well, it's a real full circle thing in some ways for you, because I know a lot of fans in the islands may not be familiar, but you did a guest role in Star Trek The Next Generation. Admittedly, Captain Kirk, not part of that era of Star Trek, but you're going to kind of dabble in both eras, aren't you?
Well, you've done your homework. God knows how you found out about that. Yeah, I played sort of half fish, half Antidian, with not William Shatner, but the great English actor that took
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. And that was God knows how long ago. So I am vaguely connected to the Shatner man in some mutant form.
That's right.
You know, so it left me good for dead, I think, in that series. I had so much fun doing it. And they said, "Well, do you want to do it?" And I said, "Well, you know, I got to shave off my beard and do all that stuff." And I said, "I tell you what, I'll do it as long as you guarantee me that I get to beam down."
Oh, nice.
Like, just if you beam me down and you promise in the script that that's what happens, I'll do it, and I'll shave all the beard off and cut the hair, because the prosthetics that they had to wear were like gnarly. You know, it's like hours and hours of stretching this rubber stuff all over my face and head, and of course the beard had to go, and it did. And they kept their word. I got to beam down, so somewhere in the archives of Star Trek, I can at least rest easy that I've actually been beamed down onto the starship. I did not get off the starship. They put me on deck D in some weird liquid, so I wasn't a very nice person in this particular episode. So there I rest.
But you got to do it, and what it is it's.
So when you asked, given the chance to go on Star Trek, even the New Generation, which was a great series, you know,
it was fantastic.
But it was really a good follow-up. Hard thing to follow the Shatner man, but they all did a great job on that for years.
Oh, totally. I met Patrick one time, and you're right. I mean, it's very hard to follow in his footsteps, but all these years later, Patrick Stewart, you look back at that era, and you're like, that's like era 2. It doesn't seem like junk. It seems good.
It resonates in its own way, for sure.
Exactly. No, it does. And as a final note, before I let you go, there's something that you've recently done, which I was hoping to kind of hear a little bit more about. Your commitment to Maui. Talk about just joining the Maui Memorial Medical Foundation Board, and
absolutely,
why you've joined and what it means to you.
Well, it really came about. First of all, it's really exciting, and it's a true commitment from me, and it was very organic the way it happened. Tony Takatani, a friend of mine, I'd learned play golf with. Not learned to play golf, but although he does teach me, he's pretty good. And I started talking. He's involved and he's on the board. And I started talking about just what my perception was, being a resident of the island, on how people, you know, what they do and don't know about what goes on at the hospital. And I have a very good experience with the hospital, not only with my mother, who's 94 years old, and she's been in a couple of times, and a few other friends have had the need to go to hospital. And I've always had a great experience and great response from the hospital. And in truth, I'd heard bits and pieces that led me to feel that the island sometimes really didn't understand how much great new stuff is going on at the hospital, which there is and has been for quite some time. And I got into a sort of really emotional pitch about how I would love for people to be more vested in the knowledge of what is and what isn't at the hospital, which led me to doing this. And we're really excited about some of the things we're going to be doing. We are definitely. It's all about really. I'm looking at myself as a cheerleader, you know, and they have some great announcements coming up, and I can now say we have some great announcements coming up.
That's right.
That I think everyone on the island and islands are going to be really blown away about how incredibly progressed certain departments in the hospital have become. Really truly cutting-edge situations that we are, as we speak, I'm developing a whole project which will be hopefully announced fairly soon, that will involve a rather massive show coming up in the next few months ahead. and behind that is a lot of excitement and detail, which I can't spew out right now, but that's what I'm doing. And it's also an interesting thing. Like all of us, we tend to sometimes say things and not do things, and I will put myself in that boat along with everyone else, and sometimes not everyone else. And this really, it makes it very focused, where I want to be on the line. I want to be put on the line in order to really get some input and get some excitement and do what I think I can do to really be of help to the hospital, hopefully on a permanent basis, and that's my involvement. And it's going to be hard work, it's going to be inspiring, and it's going to be uplifting, selfishly for me. And out of that, I hope comes something that I can put my hat on and say that I've actually really done something to help. And that's what I intend to do.
I think it's great that you give back to the community, and I remember bonding with you, talking about our moms and the righteous way that you treat your mom, moving her out here to be part of your life. I send her my love and my very best from here on Oahu, and I hope that you will, as things progress with the concert and the way you're going to capitalize on your star power to help out basically in our community, I hope that you'll keep me in mind and you'll let me do a phoner or something to sort of publicize it.
I will be hounding you. You can rest assured.
That'll mean a lot. It'll be great. We'll do our part, and the same with the restaurant too, as that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I'm definitely a busy bee.
You are.
Yeah, and that's also exciting. I'm heading towards this summer opening up a restaurant which will have a music component. But it's truly a lovely restaurant, bar restaurant in Lahaina on Front Street. So I'm really working really hard at a lot of things on a lot of fronts. So it's sort of a good job I'm not going on the road with Fleetwood Mac this year.
And it's going to be...
going to be on the road this year with Fleetwood Mac, and it got delayed. And I'm now actually kissing the ground that I'm not, because I've got really too much to do. So there you go.
It's going to be exciting. Well, I look forward to reconnecting with you over those things. And the only favor I'll ask is if there's any way you think that you'd help me get a phoner together with your buddy John McPhee, who's living right here in the community.
I will try. John is a very, very, very different creature than me. He's a very sort of private chap. And I think the best he could probably do at some point would be to work at doing something where I can do it with him. I mean, I'll ask him. He'll basically, the first thing he'll say is, "Why would anyone want to talk to me?" It's like, and then it's a hard one to answer. You go, "Well, because
you're important."
Fleetwood Mac, and people love the band, and he said, "I know, but..."
Well, maybe we'll do it together, like you said.
He's very, very retreative in that way, and I have to sort of goad him on. Once he gets going, he's actually a great interview. He's a really good interview. He's got all the chops, intelligent chops like Keith Richards. He's just really an incredibly well-read human being, and keeps me in line. Whenever I start, going too far off to wherever, all these ideas I get, he pulls me back down and says, "Mick, you're doing too much. Just do this. Stay on one thing."
That's cool. He's a good friend, and
he's my best friend.
I know. And right here in the islands, brother. How huge.
Yeah, there you go. The old rhythm section, not far from each other.
Nope, not at all.
Aloha, this is Mick Fleetwood, and there's no place I would rather be. We are tuned right now to our good friend, Dave Lawrence. Hey, Dave, how about a Maui 420?
And please be safe over the holidays. And again, the best to your mom and stuff. I love getting to talk to you again, Mick.
Yeah, God bless you.
You too. Be safe.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha.